Hi everyone, Linda here with Erica Michaels, and it's time for more show and tell. 3 new designs are releasing Friday, the 22nd of May. They will start shipping to my auto ship shops. Many shops, those who were in Nashville, actually got a preview of these while they were there, which is a little perk that I like to give those folks who do attend Nashville. So again, they're releasing very soon. I would expect that your shops will start receiving them by the end of May. So let them know what you want. They'll be available indefinitely, right? So again, 3 new titles. First one is called Cherish. Here we go. This was actually a club project with a retailer last year, so it may look familiar to some of you. It's made up of 3 pieces, all based on this primary piece right here, which says Cherish, Family, and Friends. It's got just a really pretty, strong primary color palette, blue and red and gold, and it's done on I stitched it on 36 count Dolly Madison linen from Needle and Flax, which is just kind of a nice warm neutral. There are lots and lots of options here that you're going to find for this one. Even, you know, the vintage country mocha, anything along those lines that you like with these pretty colors. So we've got this larger pin pillow. The details include the finishing of the ribbon and the rickrack all the way around. And then these little hearts right here are actually satin stitched, and that just gives them a little bit more punch. If you prefer, you can absolutely just cross stitch them, right? So this is what I think of as the primary Cherish model. The other little bits or pieces are what I think of as outtakes from that, and that includes this little small pin keep, the same potted urn, and the satin stitched hearts as on the larger piece. The primary difference here is that the Family and Friends at the bottom is stitched over 1 thread of the linen. So it's 1/1 work. That's completely optional. You could actually just leave that off if you would prefer, right? And a little design like this would also be so sweet on the cover of a little needle book. Just lots of ways to finish. Then I also took that same little potted urn and did a little tag on perforated paper. The perforated paper is in white. It's actually vinyl now, so I actually have kind of still a stash of both, so dependent on what you're able to get. And I have aged this just a little bit. I use something called Distress ink that's in the paper crafting section, and I just lightly kind of dab it onto the perforated paper to give it a little bit of an aged linen look as opposed to the bright white. So again, one chart pack is called Cherish, and it has charting ink for all 3 pieces, right? Next up, you know, we continue to see all this fabulous America 250 inspired designing. There are really some wonderful, wonderful pieces, fun little pin keeps, and absolutely fabulous samplers, right? I've got berries. So what I've done here, I'm going to try to put them in this little tray so that you can see them. These are the red, white, and blueberries. Okay, they're primarily monochromatic stitching, but there are some little details in each one that just vary from that just a wee bit, but each one has the color name, red, a few motifs, and there's a couple of words on each one where the color red symbolizes something in a lot of our country's symbols and that sort of thing. And so red is for courage and also for hardiness. So we've got a red berry. Then we have white. It's also mostly white stitching. So you do need to select, let me turn it right side up. You do need to select a fabric for these where you're going to get contrast with the white. This is Cocoa by Weeks Dye Works. And on here, the words are purity and innocence. And that's the white berry. And then the blueberry, right? We have an eagle and the word vigilance. And then we have the word justice and the scales. These berries, a couple of them have, maybe Smyrna crosses, those kind of things that are optional. Everything is still Aida friendly, however you decide to do it. The other thing that you might notice is, you see here we have the red berry, but the white berry goes in a little bit different direction, and that's because the word white fits a little bit better this direction. It can be finished the other way. In fact, it's charted so that they're all consistent. But when you get to finishing these, you might take a look and decide whether you want, which direction you want the white berry to go. Just a little tidbit for when you do these. Now, the top treatments continue the red, white, and blue theme. These are all wools from Weeks Dye Works. And when you choose your wools for your tops, keep in mind the shades of blue and red that you're using. This is a softer blue. It's not a dark royal or navy blue. And so my wool is a little bit different. So keep that in mind when you decide what color palette you want to use in terms of your red, whites, and blues. But I have used the same 3 wools for the top treatments in each one, but they're layered a little bit differently. So the white berry has the white wool or the creamy colored wool for the base cap, and then blue and a bit of red and a vintage button. The red berry has the red wool, and then just the different order or sequence of the layers and another vintage button. And then the blue berry has the blue colored wool for the base cap. So they're all finished the same way with the same layers, the same cuts, vintage buttons and straight pins, but they're just arranged a little bit differently, and that adds a lot of nice interest, I think. So these are the red, white, and blue berries. Give you another look here all together. All 3 in the same chart pack. And lastly is the summer installment of a series I've been doing for the last several months, a seasonal series of cartouches, which is an embroidered enclosure or border. The previous models, if you've been looking at these, are fairly small because I have been finishing them just right on the edge with like a rickrack or a pom-pom or a chenille type of trim. For summer, our summer cartouches, I changed that up a little bit, and I made these more into larger pin pillows, right? So same thing can be done with all of these, and vice versa. You can still take these and just finish them just right at the edge of the stitching. It's just really what you prefer, but this was fun to do with these summer pieces. So still 4 pieces. as in all the Cartouche series, and still one of the pieces, one of the little designs shown on perforated paper. So this is Lazy Hazy Days. I don't know about you, but here in Middle Tennessee, the humidity hit this week, and so it's definitely starting to feel like summer and these lazy hazy days. But it's just a sweet little thing with a bit of gingham ribbon on top, white sticky felt on the back side. You could certainly choose to stitch this as a little small piece, a little pin pillow, completely up to you. Then we go on to the others. These are all stitched on a fabric from Needle Bling Designs called Marshmallow Fluff. It's very much an antique white. It's not a bright white. It's just got that little bit of tone down from a bright white. So we have Picnic. I don't know about you, but I have lots of memories of picnics as a kid. It does have the checkered tablecloth, the watermelon, and the required ants, all in just some fun stitching. I will note here that because I've stitched this on a creamy white fabric, I did not stitch or fill in the white of the red and white checkerboard because of the fabric. Perhaps if you decide to stitch this maybe on a blue or a green or a darker neutral or whatever, then you might want to fill in with white stitches in that checkerboard. Okay, so Picnic. Then each of the series, I always include the name, the summer. So here we have the summer cushion. Again, just some pretty summery fabrics that really complemented the little design. We've got a nice little sunburst here, very traditional kind of samplery motifs, but the color scheme really it doesn't look so samplery, right? Finishing, this is just a couple of scraps of wool and a vintage button. So a reminder that you don't ever want to throw away those little scraps of felted wool that you have, because you never know where you might use them again. And lastly, as a kid growing up in South Central Kansas, we loaded up the station wagon every summer and went on a road trip, usually for 2 weeks. Saw all kinds of things, just all over the country. And so for me, vacation and summer really go together. And so that's where we get this piece here. Vacation, pretty kind of periwinkle, watery, summery blue with a hot green, pretty trims. I tried to make this little set of cartouches something that wasn't so beachy. It's so tempting for summer things to go to a beach theme. I mean, I'm the first one to want to do that because I'm a landlocked girl and I really love it when I can get to the beach. But in this case, these are very much more of a non-beachy summer. So we have 4 designs, including the little perforated paper piece in summer cartouches. I do have a couple more of these planned for some upcoming holidays, so wait and see on those. Also coming up here in just a few weeks, I'm going to be at Shepherd's Needle in Little Rock, Arkansas doing a class. It is an Americana theme, and if you're interested, go to their website or give them a call and see if they still have seats. But in the meantime, enjoy your summer, stay cool and comfortable, and do what you are able to do and love. And anyway, lastly, I want to say thank you. You all here on YouTube, I appreciate all the comments. I just appreciate your support. And look forward to sharing what I have coming next. Alrighty, until then, bye now.